My partner keeps finding fault with what I eat, and it's creating major issues in our connection. Shared by you/Patsvin929. This is an extended entry with some history, so please stick with it. My partner, 25F, and I, 28M, have been dating for 10 months, and around 6 months in, I got laid off because of COVID, leading us to spend much more time with each other. I believe that's when she picked up on my eating habits. A few notes before I continue. 1. I openly acknowledge my eating wasn't ideal prior to meeting her. 2. Her father has diabetes, so I suspect that's influencing some of this. In any case, to cut a long tale short, I altered my eating patterns quite a bit at her encouragement. I reduced fried items significantly, to just once or twice monthly from several times weekly. Incorporated more produce like an apple and banana daily at minimum, plus vegetables several times a week, whereas before it was minimal. I also decreased pasta intake and included more poultry like turkey, chicken, and seafood. For context, I'm not slim but not overweight either. If anything, I might benefit from shedding 15 or 20 pounds gained during the pandemic, but otherwise I'm fully fit, and she knows that. Regarding her eating, she sticks to only fish, chicken, and Caesar salad while working out for an hour each day. I can't exercise that extensively because of problematic knees that are both genetic and from past injuries, which she knows about too. Yet in the last month or so, she's begun strongly faulting my eating again without any prompt, to the extent that it happens at every meal she witnesses. Stuff like, "Do you truly need that much bread?" when it's my second slice at a eatery and she consumes the remainder of the basket. Or, "You've already eaten red meat this week," remarks like those. When I stand my ground, she right away behaves like a kid not getting what she wants. She'll begin accusing me, claiming it's my responsibility that we're fighting. She'll express she's dissatisfied and can't handle much more, along with other statements that endanger the relationship. I'll highlight the clear hypocrisy, but that just escalates her anger. Since this is my initial relationship, I'm unsure how to handle it except to drop it out of worry about worsening things. I eventually concluded it was too much when on Friday we had a date evening that included stopping for a cake for her parents' celebration at a spot she'd never visited. We're from separate areas, and she resides 40 minutes distant. Plus, my mother obtained this cake once and my partner enjoyed it a lot. I chose the roasted prime rib since I hadn't had it there in ages. She instantly challenges it and I hold firm, but I also add broccoli to ease her. She then begins weeping as soon as the server departs and utters things like, "I don't want to stay here, I just want to leave. And if you get upset with me, I'll phone my dad to come get me," all while continuing to cry. I essentially informed her that this needs to end and I can't cope with her judging my food daily. Skip ahead to after the most awful meal I've experienced, and we arrive at her parents' home. I approach her mother figuring perhaps she can reason with her since I've attempted for the past week without results, and explain the events. Her mother sides with me and essentially tells my partner, "You can't dictate to others what to do. It'll cause them to rebel. And if you keep this up, you won't maintain a relationship with anybody." Yesterday, she seemed okay, and it appeared she'd absorbed the advice. But at supper tonight, she reverted to her previous ways, and I sense like I've run out of choices. I don't wish to end things with her as I still care for her deeply. But I also can't endure the ongoing judgment. I have countless other concerns now between resuming a full-time position that's truly a profession and attending school full-time too. Then to add fretting over what my partner will think of this selection. I realize this might appear trivial, but it's reached where 95% of our disputes are about this. And I feel like I'm merely sitting, consuming, and keeping to myself. I've already shifted nearly completely from my prior eating habits, and I've mentioned this to her repeatedly. I sense that if I yield to her, she'll simply spot something else to fault in my following meal, and it'll become an endless loop. I'm truly at my limit and unsure what to do. Any assistance is greatly valued. Top relevant replies, responder, this is her true nature. You've discussed it with her several times and even involved her mother in speaking to her, yet she hasn't altered. She clearly isn't prepared to cease this conduct. Your main choices are to split up, endure the perpetual judgment and conflicts, or cease resisting and allow her to select all your food for you. I'd personally end it, but if you refuse that, your alternative is to accept her controlling your eating. She's evidently not keen on halting her actions. Responder 2, I'm a certified nutritionist, and it appears she shows signs of problematic eating. The urge for control and fixation on nutritious food indicate orthorexia. I'm not able to diagnose, but I highly think she requires expert assistance from a nutritionist or maybe a counselor. Sorry to learn you're both facing difficulties. Update 1 day after. Hello everyone, first thanks for all the suggestions. I genuinely expected replies like cope with it. It's minor, but the guidance you've provided has truly assisted. I spoke with her prior to heading to work and firmly set boundaries for real. I directly stated that if this conduct persists, I'll end things with her. She claimed she'll quit, but I'm skeptical. For those suggesting she might have orthorexia or another eating issue, after reviewing the signs, I tend to concur. But from personal knowledge, raising it with her or her folks will just result in strong rejections and refusal to get aid. Considering that, I've booked a rental SUV. I own a Camaro, lacking sufficient storage for my items, from my nearby spot for Saturday to transport what I own back to my mother's place if her actions don't improve. I've also begun checking apartments close to my new work, as it mandates living in the county for the job if this fails. I'm not abandoning the relationship, but I think it's wiser to prepare and I can cancel the booking anytime. Again, thanks to all for the replies, guidance, and encouragement. I'm truly thankful. I'll share a distinct update on Saturday to inform you of the outcome. Top relevant replies. Responder, I regrettably question if this will suffice to halt her either, since the core problem remains unaddressed. First, she must recognize she has an issue with disordered eating and mindset, and that her actions are the issue. But her emotional manipulation of you indicates she truly doesn't believe so. She strongly thinks your choice of food without yielding to her control is the problem. But ideally, this will push her correctly as long as you maintain boundaries, and she actively works to stop. Second update 9 months after, so I know I promised an update that Saturday and failed to. Sorry for that. Life became hectic and I overlooked it. Anyway, on to the news. Following our talk, she really did cease attempting to manage my eating. She avoided any remarks on my eating or selections. I believe my firmness showed her I meant it, and the relationship would end if she kept up. To summarize, however, we parted in July this year due to other matters that obviously showed incompatibility. I recognized it was a harmful relationship, and many of her other actions were controlling, as one initial responder noted, and simply immature. She and her relatives were also quite privileged, and saw themselves as infallible since they had substantial wealth. The positive side is I'm now in a fresh relationship with someone far superior in all aspects. It's essentially like dating my female counterpart. We share numerous interests. Approach matters and see the world similarly. It's just over a month of formal dating, but it's progressing wonderfully, and I hold strong expectations for a shared future in any shape. The amusing part is, post-breakup, I told myself and others I wouldn't date soon, probably until next year. Then this connection appeared unexpectedly when I wasn't seeking. It's wild how life unfolds. Thanks once more to all who replied to the original entry. It seems most were correct that I should have terminated it then. I genuinely think if I had, I wouldn't have met the lady I have now. Top relevant replies. Responder, congrats to you. Kindly recall this from your prior entry. What will my partner think of this choice? Avoid dating someone requiring you to tiptoe around. My first relationship as a teen involved lots of that, so fortunately I learned young. You're beginning a tad later than me, so ensure you remember this. Ops reply, thanks. Yes, I certainly gained an important insight. Responder 2, I assume the former hasn't simplified things. Ops reply, in the days after the split. No, she didn't. Her parents got involved as well and complicated retrieving some of my belongings. Since then, no contact from them and I haven't reached out, which is ideal. Responder 3. When you consume and request items before the new individual, is it calming now? Ops reply, absolutely. We enjoy and consume many similar foods. She's from another nation too, so she's sharing some dishes from her homeland with me.